Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. I'm Puteri and today I'll be sharing my group's analysis on Samsung Electronics make or buy decision. For introduction, my group consists of myself, Puteri, Sachitra and also Uttaranjit. Before we start with the analysis, here's a little bit of background on Samsung Electronics. It was founded in 1969 in Suwon, South Korea, and from its humble beginnings, it has now evolved into a multinational corporation with more than 287,000 employees in over 74 countries worldwide. The Samsung Group has two CEOs. First is Mr. Han Jong-hee and second is Mr. Kyung Hae-hoon. It has four main business segments, the first one being consumer electronics, second semiconductors, third telecommunication, and fourth digital media technologies. Samsung is the global leader for all these four business segments. Here are some facts and figures for Samsung Electronics. In 2021, Samsung garnered around 244 billion US dollars in revenue, and most of it comes from the telecommunication and semiconductor segments. So these two are the most lucrative segments for Samsung Electronics. For telecommunication is actually being the smartphones sold to customers globally. And Samsung owns 20% of global market share of smartphone sales in 2021, with a record of over 272 million smartphones sold in that year, and its most prominent line is the Galaxy S line. For the purpose of this discussion, we will focus on the telecommunication segment, specifically the make or buy decision for Samsung in producing its smartphone. Moving on to the make or buy decision made by Samsung. Samsung is a global production company, therefore it produces its own smartphones as it has a dispersed manufacturing facilities globally. Its facilities are located in Vietnam, India, South Korea, Brazil, and also Indonesia, each with their own market to fulfill. Samsung opted to go for local production in some countries to cater to local demands, and also due to the high import tax imposed by the government of these countries. For example, in India and also Brazil, the government has imposed a high import tariff for smartphones coming into their countries, and therefore Samsung decided to produce locally in order to remain competitive in these markets. One more thing is that Samsung used to have production facilities in China, but since 2021, it has stopped operations in China because the market share for Samsung phones in China has fallen below 1%. This may be due to the fact that there are other rival brands in China such as Apple, Huawei, and also Xiaomi. So Samsung sees that it is no longer making financial sense for them to produce in China. Since the discussion will be on the smartphone line, I'll share a little bit on what are the main parts needed to make a smartphone. So these are the main parts in producing a smartphone. It includes a display, battery, system on a chip or the brain of the smartphone, memory and storage, camera, and also sensors. We have various types of sensor. And all these main parts are produced internally by Samsung. For example, the battery produced by Samsung SDI, the brain produced by Samsung Semiconductors, including the memory, storage, camera, and even the sensors, they are all produced internally by Samsung. So Samsung is making these parts for its smartphone line. Samsung used to outsource battery from Hitachi. However, due to the incident of Samsung battery exploding in 2016 had caused a massive uproar. The cost of recall for this smartphone line cost Samsung 5.3 billion US dollar. And this may be the reasons why Samsung preferred to make or produce the parts internally rather than buy it or outsource from suppliers. However, for software, Samsung is still opting for outsourcing or buying from more experienced seller. They are actually focusing on producing the main hardware or the main parts for the smartphones. So it is a make company. Next, I will be explaining on the factors influencing the strategic sourcing decision by Samsung. The first one is suppliers' bargaining power, as I mentioned earlier, because of the software supplier is an experienced supplier and Samsung is only focusing on hardware. Samsung has to outsource for software, and there are only limited suppliers in the market, which is why Samsung opt to have outsourcing or buy decision for software. And secondly, on the producing internally, it's because of technology. Samsung has advanced technology and its investment in R&D makes it possess the world-leading technology in smartphones. Another reason why Samsung decided to produce internally is because of economy. The global economic condition and consumers' purchasing powers causes Samsung to make parts internally for them to have cost efficiency and so they can sell their smartphones at a lower price. Another main reason is on its core competency. Its core competency in producing parts like semiconductor and also battery is evident that it doesn't have to rely on suppliers for the supplies. And another reason is on research and development. Its huge investment in R&D elevates Samsung into an innovative technology company, making it opt for making or producing parts internally rather than outsourcing for its end products. So here I'll be sharing the advantages of a make decision. When making internally, it will lead to cost efficiency, and when we have cost efficiency, we will have more profit, more revenue, and also more guarantees. And when they are producing their own parts, there would be no shortage of parts needed for the production process of the smartphone. They wouldn't need to wait if suppliers have any downtime. And it also reduces their dependency on third-party suppliers. They only have to rely on themselves instead of on others when they wanted to produce the smartphones. And by making, they could enhance their expertise and they could benefit from the experience curve and also the learning effects. Their technology would be enhanced, their expertise would be enhanced, and the cost of doing this would be lower. Okay, now I'll be talking about the disadvantages of a make decision. So when we are producing internally, we may have production issues. Production issues comes in the terms of scarcity of components needed for parts production, causing downtime in our smartphone line. And another reason is political intervention. For example, in India, the Made in India initiative has caused Samsung India to face delay in getting components needed for the parts. They can't have the components for the parts, so there will be delay in manufacturing the smartphones. This is because of government policy on having all things made in India for their parts production. So it kind of delay their smartphone manufacturing. And another reason is on legal issue. So previously, Samsung China uses a penalty system on its supplier for the components needed to produce the parts. It is received well in the country, this penalty system. However, for global standards, it is unethical. So Samsung in China received international public backlash and causes quite a huge scandal for them. And another disadvantage for making decision is that Samsung will incur high cost for workforce training and also high cost for workers' financial and non-financial benefits. Okay, so in conclusion, the make or buy decision is an important strategic decision for a company. And if a business benefits outweigh the decision to make, then it is optimum for the company to make. However, if the business benefits outweigh to buy, then it's better for them to outsource. So this question is very important for companies to ponder, for them to remain competitive in the market. So that would be all for my group's presentation. Thank you so much.